Okay, another scatterbrained paint video. This time we're gonna be talking about the question I've been fucking dodging for a while, which is my split. More importantly, my new split, which I've been doing since like November, pretty much after I stopped my cut. I've hopped into my main gaining phase, and this is the new split I found. Pretty much the most meta fucking split out there that you can do. All the fucking new studies and shit. I'm not gonna get into all the fucking nitty gritty science bullshit with it. Before we fucking get into the split and what it is, big preface over here. Yeah, if we look at the fucking pie chart I make, this is pretty much, and I'll explain. So like pretty much training and diet are like 30%. Genetics is like 70% of it. Reason being, I'll show you. Not these people, like maybe Lex Little does not, maybe they do now, but like peak popularness, they didn't fucking know how to train. Alex Bankington chest is crazy, right? And it's not because he fucking knew how to train his goddamn chest, okay? It's not because he did something that like everybody else did. No, he just has good chest genetics where his chest will grow out of proportion compared to the rest of his muscles. I remember he was selling his goddamn like program. It was like fucking 3 sets of 20 on like, he was like doing pump training pretty much. A fucking retard, doesn't know how to train. It's okay, we all were fucking retards. But yeah, he just got carried by his genetics. But training, it didn't matter, but he still got fucking influencer level physique. Next, Lex Little, you think he fucking knows he trained perfectly on his quads? He managed his fatigue levels and, really like tracked his no, he just fucking squatted all the time like a fucking gorilla. Like, he says he doesn't even want to grow his quads, and they fucking grow. So, like, that's just, again, fucking genetics, bro. Jeff Side, fucking pump training, doesn't know how to train. But this is him at fucking 15, shredded and shit, and with a fuck ton of muscle. Wasn't even training at this point. He was, like, doing fucking wrestling and shit. Yeah, it's pretty much mostly just diet and genetics. Heavily on genetics. That's why they fucking get their physiques. Not because of the program. Okay, so when I tell you this program, don't expect to look like me. Or like gain a shit ton of muscle, because it's still like a slow process. You're gaining fucking grams of muscle. So the split is full body and upper lower. The reason why this is supreme is because of micro loading, which is pretty much high frequency is better than low frequency. Meaning if you hit the muscle group more in a week, it is better than training it like once a week, like split body part training. I won't get too much into the fucking science. All you gotta know is that the fucking window of gains has like a 2-day window when you can hit it again, because after that 2-day window you start losing muscle, and not by a significant amount, but it is there. So you want to hit it as frequently as possible to keep the gains coming, because after 2 days you start losing the fucking muscle you just worked hard for. So you microload that shit. And we're gonna be training low reps, heavy as shit. All of every single muscle you want to go 4 to 8 reps for everything. And you're like, oh, you need to be in the high rep range for hypertrophy. Fuck you, you don't. That's dumb. The only way you can stimulate more growth isn't from fucking doing high stretch, high reps, whatever. It's from fucking getting stronger and putting more weight to stimulate the muscle, to recruit higher fucking motor units. Now, what I recommend, there's a choice between full body and upper lower. If you're a beginner and you're not that strong yet, do full body and do it like 3 times a week. So like every other day you're hitting the shit. Most of the time, if you do full body, you're gonna be in the gym for 3 hours. Which if you can't do that, then I guess you can do upper lower. However, I still recommend full body if you're like pretty new to training. Reason being is you can hit your body parts, all of them, 3 times a week. It's better than hitting it twice a week, because you're getting more stimulus total. But this is like some Jordan Peters shit. I don't follow everything I say to a T. I'll change what I want depending on how I feel. Which is like a big part is like feeling out what feels good for you, not just like following the fucking shit. So basically for full body, you're gonna have upper day and then your lower bias day. Pretty much every day you're just gonna wanna like flip these around. So you start with the lower, so you don't fucking just like bias your upper the whole time. And you're just gonna do all 1 sets. You're like, oh, that's not a lot of sets. You're gonna not wanna do a lot of sets, because of how frequently you're going to be hitting this, and you're pretty much going to have to microload, where every single day you're going to try and get stronger, add a rep, add some weight, to your lift, but we're not going to failure here. This is the frequency of full body. So rest, full body rest, full body rest, full body rest. Yeah, every other. You're not going to be sticking with full body forever. For like newbie people, probably stick with it for like a year or more. And like once the time you go to upper lower is when pretty much you're getting too much fatigue. Like let's say you're like lifting all heavy upper body, like, and you're like super fatigued from that shit, and you can't even do your lower without like sacrificing your like you're gonna be too fatigued to hit it at your maximum rate. You go to upper lower, and instead it's gonna be upper lower rest, rest. Okay. So you're hitting everything like twice a week, and it's the same thing except you're gonna split it up so you can actually like hit everything at like full mental capacity. Because what's gonna be limiting here isn't like, it shouldn't be like the muscle damage and like fatigue that's like slowing you down progressive wise. It's more of like your central nervous system fatigue. So, you know, doing a full fucking body day is going to be so much more taxing than splitting them up, and you're going to be able to hit both. And this is what I do currently. As you can see, like, I'm not going to go through, like, you can pick your own exercises, but yeah, you see I have like the frequencies. Honestly, I've been fucking just doing like 1 time still, so even like lower volume, not like two is like too much for me. Like I can't, in 3 days I can't recover from 2 sets, which is where like this whole like amount of volume that you want to do, you're gonna be like, oh, should I do 1 set for each, or like what do I do for my back off set? It really just depends on the person. Like for me, like my chest will not fucking grow, and it's like, it's super fatigued. It's like the most fatiguing. So I usually will do like 1x with like some reps in reserve, which I'll get into that in a minute, because pretty much the whole way you make gains faster than everyone else that isn't running the micro loading meta shit is finding out how to manage your fatigue and be able to go into the next session being able to progressive overload, and yeah, not suffering from the last session because you like fucked yourself over. So finding what like is your like harder recovering areas and then being more optimal in your training. So chest, I'll do lower volume and less intensity, so I'll leave some reps in reserve, like 1 or 2. But like for my legs, I have really strong legs, and you know, I can go closer to failure on those. Never to failure, that's too much fucking fatigue for anyone. But yeah, just keep that in mind when you're deciding how much volume you want to do. No more than 2 really. Your first set will always be your strongest, so I don't really see a too big of a reason to do a second set. Maybe if you fuck up your first set and you like get a really shitty stimulus. For the exercises, I said choose whatever, but make sure they follow this shit. You want to have it so the exercises you choose don't put your muscle in a super lengthy stretched position. So you're gonna want to do like pretty short, easy to load exercises, not something that like fucking stretches your chest all the way here, stretches your quad, and you're fucking doing leg extensions where you start all the way over here. When you have a more lengthened positioned exercise, it's going to create a shit ton more fatigue. You're not going to recover to hit your muscle again, and you're fucking up the whole point of doing this shit, okay? Anyways, make sure it's like a safe exercise to go heavy, so again, not like putting yourself in a bad position. So I usually use like pretty much all machines. And the rep range, problem with higher rep ranges is they create more fatigue than lower, but you get the same stimulus from lower rep ranges, so there's no point in doing higher. Next, let's talk about RIR. A lot of people want to like know like how much RIR should I do for this, when RIR is pretty much a completely personal thing. Like I literally just change it on the fly depending on how I feel. The whole point of RIR is to stop us from going to failure because of too much fatigue again. I say you should stick to the 0 to 2 RIR range. When I say 0 RIR, that doesn't mean you're fucking oof, and then you go for another rep and then you can't even get it up and you fail. That's failure. That's not a 0 RIR. 0 RIR means you get that last rep. If you go for another rep, you're gonna fail it. Okay, so you don't actually fail. It's just you stop right before you fail. Personally, for me, as I said before, like for my chest work or like my more vulnerable, like my biceps, my muscles that can't really recover from fatigue too well, I'll usually have to leave like 1 RER if I want to grow the next session. But for like my legs and shoulders, I'll go to like so damn close to failure Next session, I'm fucking adding 2 reps. Like, what the fuck? Personally, that's how I do it. That doesn't mean it's gonna be the same for you, so keep that in mind. If you find yourself plateauing at all in these like high frequency splits, it means that your programming is pretty shit, because you should be progressing every time. You have no reason not to. You have too much fatigue, if it's whether it's mental, like CNS, as in like your brain can't even fucking recruit any more motor units in your muscle because it's just like too much stress from like your volume or some shit, or like going to failure, or it's like muscle damage, like you're doing again too much volume or going to failure, and your muscles like literally can't grow because it's fucking needs to recover still. So yeah, most times what you should do to stop your plateauing is just, again, leave more RAR, or changing up, like maybe your exercise leaves your muscle too stretched, or you're doing like 2 sets on like chest press when you only need 1, and that second set is just giving unnecessary muscle damage without giving a good enough stimulus in return. As far as the exercises, I'll just like I'll put them on the screen somewhere on like what I do for my upper lower. I do like the same exercises for full body, but I had to stop training full body because I got too damn strong, and like I was not able to like do my fucking 4-plate squat or whatever, my 4-plate RDL in the same session as like my incline press and dips and whatever. So I'll just like put them like there. But yeah, that's my split.